Hey YouTube, it's me again. Just stopping in to give you a little bit of more of an update on me. Like I said I would earlier. So, in the last, I'd say 7 years since I kind of stopped doing YouTube videos, what really kind of got to me at the time was I was having a lot of issues dealing with all of the negativity on YouTube, and just irritated that we would allow ourselves as black folks to be seen so negatively on such a profound platform that really could make or break what people thought of us. Since that time, I've pretty much grown and learned a lot of things. And, I've let go of a lot of the disappointments and hang-ups I had around that. At this point in my life, I'm really just back where I originally was when I first came on to YouTube, and that was on a mission of healing and sharing and just finding people out there who were like-minded and pretty much understood and felt the same way I did about the things that were going on in the world and in my life. The other reason why I pretty much kind of had to leave YouTube is, I had 2 young children. I had to make sure that, we're growing up in a safe environment, and they needed things. So I had to start doing some side work at the time, and then my husband, his company closed down, shut down their manufacturing side, and he was essentially laid off. And for 2 years, he was unemployed. And so I was essentially footing all of the bills outside of, his unemployment. And he ended up having to look outside of the state of Maryland to find a job, and that's how we ended up in Massachusetts. At first, I really didn't want to leave Maryland because I had my house there, and I had essentially gotten my house to the point that I really wanted it to be. I had my garden in my yard. I had my garden. I had my seeds and everything, my worm bin, and I just had my life where I wanted it to be at that point. And I was happy, and I didn't want to leave, but by this time my sons were teenagers. They were young adults. They were between the ages of 10 and 12, 13 years old, and my son had started high school. And even though we sent him to one of the top schools in Baltimore, he was having issues with the older children starting to pick on him. And we were also having issues since we were still in the city. We were having a lot of issues with when the boys would go outside of our neighborhood, they were being robbed. And eventually I started finding like weapons in their clothes and things like that, which, really took me aback. So even though my husband was traveling back and forth working in Massachusetts and coming home on his days off, eventually, with everything that was going on with our children, I needed to move somewhere where they would definitely be safe, because at this point I feared for their lives. And what really put the nail in the coffin was the day that my son was at school, and 3 of the 11th graders tried to jump him. Unfortunately for them, they did not know that my son had already been taking mixed martial arts for a couple years before he started the school, and needless to say, they got their asses handed to him. but still my son was put in an unsafe situation, and they don't deserve to grow up like that. They didn't deserve to grow up like that. I went through a lot of that stupidness when I was a teenager, and my husband did too, and I did not want my children to have to continuously experience that. So I think in less than a month, 30 days or so, we were gone. So we moved up to Massachusetts, and this is where I've been for the last 7 years. What I like about Massachusetts is that the opportunities here are there's a lot more opportunities here when it comes to, especially in healthcare, biotech industry, and several other industries. It's just so much more opportunity here, but it's also high competition, and it is a lot of racism. And but you know, as long as you got opportunities, there's ways to get around all different types of adversities if you make the right choices and the right steps. So while I was here, like maybe 2 years in, I found out I had fibroids, because I had noticed that I was really exhausted all the time, and it had gotten to the point where I couldn't even walk from my bedroom to my bathroom or to my kitchen without getting heart palpitations. The move was hard in itself because it was just us, so we went through, separation anxiety, depression, and everything. And I pretty much gained like maybe 60 pounds. And I've been struggling since to really get rid of it. And in the last 5 years, I've just been really struggling to get back to myself. And now I'm finally really feeling like I have the energy and the mental capacity to be able to do what I was doing, and on the side of, having a demanding job where I do a lot of work, and most times I don't even take a lunch break. Sometimes I'm there early, sometimes I'm there late, sometimes I'm working from home. So this is just like a new start for me. I'm going back to where I was when I left YouTube, and it's going to be a new journey for me. And I don't know, what it's going to entail at this point. I'm trying to sit back and plan it out now and get it together, but I really want to get back to doing the things that I really liked doing. And I guess I'll be posting my updates here, and I hope you guys enjoy what I post. And that's about all. I think that's about it. That's been going on with me. I hope to hear from more of you guys. I really liked hearing from Miss Foyle and Yellowmore. Thank you guys for posting. I really appreciate it. Have a good evening.